All right, good morning, and members and friends of the Church of the Angels. The church is an independent, non-denominational, interfaith spiritualist assembly. My name is Reverend Jenni Vinecourt. I am facilitator today, and today we'll spend about an hour together in prayer, a bit of sharing and song, a few logistics as we get started. You may join us today with just audio. You do not have to use your video option if you do not want. Service is being recorded, so that we may help more folks connect with us. I also ask that all participants to make sure that your microphones are muted. So, excuse me, for the majority of the service, as we found that any background noise interferes with everybody else's enjoyment. We do not have Reverend Bobby with us today, but I do have a couple of songs and to play for us during those times, and hopefully it will work. So this is going to be an experiment as well. But we'll see how that goes. During the sharing portion, if you want to be called on to comment, or if you have a question, please raise your hand or use the chat function so that I can see that you want to make a comment and I can call on you and get you unmuted for that. I also want to mention before we get started that if you wish to make a donation, you can do so through the Church of the Angels website. And you can also have the opportunity at that time to make that donation a recurring one if you choose. I want to give a big thank you to those who have already donated to help us keep going, help the church keep going through this difficult time. It's greatly appreciated. And now if you would please join me in our opening prayer. Mother, Father, Infinite Spirit, thank you for your blessings on those joining us today to honor your work and experience your grace and wisdom. Thank you for providing the appropriate thoughts, insights, actions, and all resources for us to gain a better and truer understanding of your love by the words spoken and the healing brought forth here today so that we might lead healthy, happy, and prosperous lives. Thank you for showing us the way to accept responsibility for our lives, and we are grateful to know that you are with us always. So be it. And now I've asked Linda Sottery to read our statement and principles for us. Linda, are you ready for that? Let me get you unmuted, my dear. All right. Okay, Linda, you're on.
Okay, I'm being joined by my kitty here dude. Can you see him?
Awesome, thank you.
You see him? He's like glued to my lap. So he's just he's here with me. So okay, here we go. All right. There is one creative force of which all life is a part. This one creative force is known by many names and manifestations. We recognize and honor the many names and manifestations of the one creative force, the source of all creation, one in God. The energy of life everywhere is continuous. All consciousness is continuous. Communication is continuous. The energy of life, consciousness, and communication never cease, even after the event that is perceived as death. One creates one's own reality. One creates in harmony with the one creative force, the great power of God, of which all life is a part. Reality is as one chooses to perceive and will change as one grows in knowledge of the inner self and one's relationship with the God of his understanding. All things are possible with faith, insight, knowledge, understanding, acceptance, and love. Love is the unifying energy of the universe. Love is the energy of the one creative force, the wisdom of God, all life and all the wisdom of God. All life and all mankind are one in the creatorship and healing force of love and with each other. Love is within us and of us. Love is never apart from us. It is we who separate ourselves from the power of love. The force of God works through love and love alone.
Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome.
All right, I'd like to start with a few moments of quiet meditation so that we can concentrate on going within to find peace and calm and healing for ourselves and for the world. So if you would please close your eyes for just a moment. Take a few deep breaths. Imagine the white, loving light of the highest flowing into the top of your head and spreading down through your head and neck and all throughout your body. moving down through your shoulders and arms, down through your trunk, your legs, until it finally reaches your feet and toes. Each breath in brings peace and calm. And each breath out releases all negativity and fear. Now imagine upon your next deep breath in, only that which is truth and love and light can enter into your space. And with your next out breath, imagine the white light fully encompassing your body until you are enclosed in a bubble of wonderful, loving, warm, liquid light. Know that nothing but truth and love can permeate this bubble. Nothing can come in through it except love and light, and nothing can move out from it except love and light. Relish in this peace and calm, knowing that you can return to it at any time that you wish, any time that you need to feel this peace, any time you need to relieve any fear or negativity. Imagine this bubble of light, and it will be right there. Please remember that we are always connected to each other and to the divine, and use this peace and calm to take care of yourselves and all those around you in your communities and throughout the world in whatever way you can. So take another deep breath in and let it out. And then slowly take your time, wiggle your fingers and your toes and come back to the present and open your eyes. And now, if you would, please either silently or aloud, add the names of those you wish to include in this healing energy. Okay, thank you. And now it's time to see whether or not I can work the music. So we are going to have a vibrational song. I believe we need this one, and I'm hoping it works. So let's take a look. Let me know if you can hear it. Give me a thumbs up. No, we can't hear a thing. Drats. Okay, hang on. Well, imagine you were hearing Unclouded Day. Okay, with all this rain coming down outside my window, I thought we needed that. And okay, now I know we need to do that in a different way. Apparently that doesn't work. So now it's time for Inspiration and Thought Exchange, brought to us by today's speaker. We do invite everyone to address this assembly with words of inspiration, lessons learned, or passionate ideas. And today we have Batya Weinbaum going to be joining us today for our talk. She has worked as a medium since the 80s and trained at Lilydale in message and full trance work. As always, she is working on many projects. She got her doctorate at UMass Amherst, taught at Cleveland State, East Carolina University, Pacific Graduate Institute, and Union Theological Seminary, among other places. She operates a transformational arts booth at numerous gatherings and festivals. She's been teaching online for 9 years and has published 2 books about palmistry, Opening Palms and On the Palmist Road. She also leads goddess tours to India and edits and publishes the journal FemSpec. She offers writing retreats in January on, I cannot pronounce it, so you're going to have to help me, and publishes a magazine of the work produced there, Eichel Press, I believe. But Batya, there you are. I'm trying to find you. There you are. I have unmuted you. Could you tell us where you have your writing retreat? Where is that?
Oh, that's Isla Mujeres.
And where is that located?
It's off the coast of Cancun in Mexico.
Awesome. Thank you. So
Yeah.
without further ado, I bring you Batya Weinbaum. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. So it's actually a little outdated. I've been teaching online for 12 years now. And yeah, it's okay. And if you want to see, if you want to see more about where the retreat is held, you can put my name, Batya Weinbaum, into YouTube, and somebody made a 1-minute film about me talking about the place down there. So some of you might like it. You've been hearing about it for so many years. So the talk I'm going to give today is based around the tradition of priestesses, and I thought of redoing it because of what we're all going through, but then I decided, I'm just going to stick with the program because a while ago we were having in church a fly up to the graduation ceremony. Someone was being initiated as a reverend, and at one point we were all supposed to stand up, all the reverends stand up, and I didn't want to stand up because I identified as a priestess, and someone said, oh, you should stand up anyway. And so I decided I wanted to give a thought exchange about the whole priestess tradition, because we've been mediums in our own right for thousands of years. And so I bought this book to show you all and pass it around, but we're not together. And it's a wonderful book. It's called Portrait of a Priestess, and I got it on Amazon, and it has beautiful, wonderful pictures in it. Most of the history of priestesses is told through archaeology, because the history was made not pre-verbal, but pre-writing. And so there's a large movement of people in the women's spirituality movement who are studying this history through reinterpreting what's on vases and archaeological remains. And so it's actually quite interesting. So like was mentioned, I don't do it so much anymore because people don't have that much disposable income anymore, but I was leading tours to India to go to places like Durga temples and Kali temples, and to the Kahajaro temples, which is where there used to be sexual initiation rites up in northern India. And so it was very interesting to see from about 1100 AD, where there were priestesses playing music and dances were being held, and there was a lot of channeling of this kind of energy. And I'm actually building, what I'm building in Mexico is a goddess site, and that energy was also channeled and is always being channeled. And I'm doing a mural here in my house now since I'm in lockdown. I actually started it in the fall, but as I'm painting on the walls, I'm getting messages about what to paint. So I consider myself always working as a priestess, and I've been working in that goddess tradition since the 80s, since I went to the Michigan Women's Music Festival and was receiving hands-on Reiki from women who were there. This was a large women's gathering of musicians and workshop leaders and so forth in Hart, Michigan, that lasted about 40 years. And every year we would build a goddess site, and there would be dancing and singing around the goddess sites and at the rear end of where the regular musicians and performers would be happening. So there was a large women's spirituality movement that started basically in the late 70s in the United States. And I found on YouTube a very interesting movie that somebody sent me a link to. It was actually made by the Canadian Public Broadcasting System, and it was called Goddess Remembering. So if anybody's interested, they can just click that into YouTube and watch a much better presentation than what I'm going to make. And it shows actually the sites that some of which I'm going to mention here. And it shows some of the leaders in the field talking about their research into the field and the whole mystery of unraveling, what happened before 3,500 years ago when patriarchy arose and the voice of priestesses was kind of stifled. So I already showed you the book, and there's an actual, actually really interesting story about the Roman times, which I usually tell when I give people the tour of the place in Mexico, that there's a relationship between our times when the age of Kali started a few years ago, and I went to a gathering in Chichen Itza, which is a big archaeological site in Mexico.
Yes.
And it was in, have anybody heard of the date 2112? It was the date of the Mayan prophecy that either the
Yes.
world was going to end or we had to create the feminine energy being channeled in to save the world. So that was the origin of my project in Mexico, was to create a goddess site for energy to be channeled in. Anyway, I was at that ritual, and there were, thousands of people there, both men and women, creating this space for feminine energy to be channeled, and there were a lot of priestesses there, and so that's what I've been constructing. That's why I'm gone every winter, as I'm down there working on that project, which you can see some about if you put my name into the YouTube. You'll just find a minute-long film about it. Anyway, so that's, calling forth the female energy is what happened in that Mayan prophecy. And it's sort of interesting what we're all going through now, because if anything, the female energy is being called through right now. We're all being called to go back to our hearth, or, in Greek times, we had the goddess of the hearth. We all had to stay home. We've all had to pay a lot of attention to cooking and cleaning. How many times we have to wash our hands? We have to wash, all the packages that come in our house in plastic. We have to take very good care of cleanliness. These are all feminine energy. We can't go out in the world conquering it. We have to stay home and be domestic. So if anything, because of this virus that we're all living through, we've had to stay home and emphasize the feminine qualities, the female qualities. So this virus the pandemic has pushed us all to shelter within the home. And so the female energy is being called up, and our ability to go out and be yang and conquer the world, which I myself, I like to go bop from place to place. And as anybody who knows me knows that I, stay in some place for a while and then I go off and do something else. Well, I can't. I have to stay home and, clean my house and work on decluttering and throwing a lot of stuff out and making my hearth safe. And so the female energy is arising right now. And also, if you look at who's being on the front line, a lot of the people who are dying are nurses in the hospitals, and doctors and firemen, and males are dying too. But the first line of care in hospital work is often nurses, because they're the ones. Whenever I'm in the hospital, those are the ones that are going around and taking care of me, 24/7. So there's a lot of female energy now called to the front, really. And who's in charge of the home? Usually it's the woman who's in charge of the home. And so the whole family, those of us who live in families, are now on the woman's territory. So it's female energy that's being called to the front in this pandemic situation. So I guess if people watch all those television press conferences, both on the national level and on the state level, we have I don't want to get in hot water here, but mostly our government officials are men, the presidents, the vice presidents, the governors, but the advisors mostly are the females. If you watch them, almost every state has a female doctor. Now, not all the doctors advising are females for sure, but there's an overwhelmingly large number of female advisors who have done all the research, and they come up with the numbers, and they've done the surveys. In Ohio, of course, we have that wonderful woman whose name I can't remember, but she won the Spirit of Columbus Award. And she, what's her name?
Amy Acton?
Yes, Amy Acton. She's a perfect example of a priestess, because she's channeling all this energy. And those of you who are in my generation, we studied like math anxiety, and women weren't in the whole field of math and science and doctors and medicine. So it's a huge breakthrough that there's so many women in this field anyway of medicine and science. And the Los Angeles mayor was also giving a presentation, and on his right-hand man was a woman who came out forth with all of the science and the numbers about, certain, decisions that were made. And the decisions that were made were totally amazing. And it's kind of priestess energy, because the governments are now turning into feminine qualities to save the population. In Los Angeles, they're giving 3 different ways to give free childcare to all of the nurses or anyone who needs childcare, which is mostly the nurses. So they can either get $100 a shift to pay someone in their family or a neighborhood person to take care of their children, or they can use the $100 to pay for childcare at their place of work, or there's a third option. But the idea that the city government would pay for free childcare. And in Tennessee, the grocery workers are getting free childcare because they're considered essential workers. So there's this way in which this whole compassionate realm is coming forth, which is, traditionally been associated with female versus, the masculine warrior values. I don't want to insult anyone who's masculine, because the whole world operates on a balance between masculine and feminine energies. And over the last 3,000 or 4,000 years, we've gotten in an imbalance. And now what's happening right now, even though the pandemic is not good and thousands of people are dying, and I'm not saying that that's positive, but really what's happening is we're rebalancing for a rise of the female energy. And so the priestesses of the home, not everyone is saying, I'm a priestess and I'm calling forth energy, but that's actually what's happening. There's a resurgence of the feminine energy happening right now. And it's just amazing to watch what's happening if you have that perspective. I guess I should be more careful and following my prepared notes here, but I do kind of enjoy watching the whole thing unfold. And there's this Dr. Birx. Have you noticed her? And does anybody here watch the national press conference where the president and the vice president come on, and then they have that consortium, and Dr. Birx plays a very interesting role. And I don't know whether you've noticed her, but she always wears these scarves, these very elaborate silk scarves, or she wears some sort of a shawl. She's dressed like a shaman. I mean, she's dressed in this like priestess fashion, and she's very feminine in her self-presentation, but the style of presentation is very priestess-like. And it's totally remarkable, and especially when she's asked to come up and do a very masculine type thing, which is handle numbers and statistics and handle analytical concepts, but she does it in a priestess type fashion. So there's a lot of there's a lot written about how medicine is the new religion, that happens sort of in the period of enlightenment. We started saying that all of the things that we do, like reading palms and the spirituality and message passing and the feeling that everybody could be in touch with spirituality from within, and all of that was all made illegal, and that's why witches were burnt and all of that. That's another movie you can see on YouTube, The Burning Times. It's all about, killing off the witches. So there was in the Enlightenment, there was the rise of science, and then the killing off of anyone who had this kind of channeling reality happening in certain ways, reading tea leaves or whatever the method was of channeling, tarot cards, whatever. And science came up as the new religion. And so we have these, men and women, but there is a predominance of women in all the medical people standing there giving the advice to the largely male leadership, political leaders. The males give the presentation, and then the women come forth and give the numbers and the support. So there's a very interesting rebalancing of power. I haven't actually watched a press conference of the woman governor from Michigan, so I have to say that there's places where in the places where there are women who've made it into the governorships and the political leaderships, I haven't watched that. mostly because I don't think they've been televised, and I'll have to watch it carefully for the next class to develop my presentation. But I do know that she's been attacked a lot, and some of the male governors have been attacked. So there's still this warring quality among the political leadership. But there is a whole reality of trying to study in the women's spirituality movement the way in which these original matriarchal societies were more cooperative and didn't have competition with each other. One of the societies they study is Crete, which is one of the last societies where the ruins can still be seen in I don't know how to pronounce Knossos, Knossos. Has anybody ever been there? Well, we were going to have, those of us in the movement, we're going to have a big gathering in October of, thousands of women were going to go there for a priestess gathering. And now we don't even know if we're going to have it, of course. And so that's what motivated me wanting to give this talk. I thought I was going to talk about all the rituals we were going to have in the water. It's on an island, and we were going to revisit all the sites. So anyone who's interested in pursuing this whole field of priestesses and their traditions, the field is called archaeomythology. That's the field where people look at these images and try to figure out what the women on the Greek vases were doing, and what were they doing when they were dancing, and what are they doing in the friezes, and I won't show you all the pictures because we're not in a good situation to see, but there's something very earth-shaking literally happening right now. And I know some of you probably listened to the Abraham, the channeling of the guy the entity who comes through Esther, who is behind the law of attraction. There was a channeling on March 21st. And it's a very interesting thing. You can also find it on YouTube. But he was talking through Esther, and he was saying how there's a whole compassionate vibration around the earth right now, and we can focus on that which is trying to come through. And so we can focus on the bad of what's happening, and that is probably not the most productive thing. But if we are open to the rebalancing that's happening and the compassionate arc that's around the earth right now, and it's coming through in these very small places, like cleaning the small places that we live in, or making our beds, or emptying out our closets, or all of a sudden we'll get an impulse to take care of the hearth. We don't have goddesses of the hearth anymore, but that goddess energy of taking care of the home is really being called to, and I think we'll keep sheltering in the home until all the rebalancing with nature is able to happen, and the wildlife is able to return and reclaim the habitat that they've been scared out of. I know I've got a lot more squirrels around my house, and a lot more bunnies, and a lot more birds than I've had for the 20 years that I've lived in my house. So anyway, I think I've given you 3 resources that you can watch on YouTube, which is going to replace the book that I was going to pass around. So I don't know did I have a time? I don't know. I've probably.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you, Batya. And I would like to open it up for questions and comments. And I'm going to be looking for hand raises or a chat function. So does anybody, I first want to say thank you very much. That was extremely interesting. And I'm going to look up some of those things. And I just want to say that I am a goddess of the hearth. And I've got a sweatshirt that says Barn Goddess. So that I like to wear when I'm out doing the cows or whatnot. Yeah, Barn Goddess. So that's one of my favorites. But anyway, yes, B. I see B. Beckbar.
Yes.
What would you like to say, Ben-Dear?
I have recently seen on TV that they are re-examining the Cleopatra archaeological site for new information on her domain and how important all of that is to the culture of that time era. And I am finding that to be very interesting, what they are finding about her and how her reign, a feminine reign of power related to that time period, and they have missed all of the female, and I'm going to say this is not the right word, but empresses. They have overlooked. They've always thought that they were male emperors. That's not the right word. Pharaohs. There you go. They've always thought they were male pharaohs during the time period of Cleopatra, and now they are realizing that there are females to be looked upon as leaders, and starting with the Cleopatra, and that this is a new development for the priestesses.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I had a couple students who wanted to write papers on Cleopatra when I was teaching Image of Women in Western Civilization in Empire State College at SUNY. And at first I was like, no, you know, but the negative image we have of Cleopatra is entirely from modern films that just show her as a sex object. And that's a couple of biographies about her that came out recently, which show that she was really a queen with a lot of power in our sense.
Yes.
Have you heard of Hatshepsut? She's another pharaoh, and she looked like a man. She had a beard.
Yes, because they could not deal with the fact that she was a female. They added the male orientation to her to fit in with the male role models, and now they are coming back and realizing that that was a female and that they had done that to her. Is that what you're realizing too?
Yeah. She had to cross dress she had to conceal
her. That is correct.
Yeah. Interesting. All
right. And even
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Even Isis, you know, she had Osiris, the sun, on her lap all the time because she had to sit behind the male in order to have any power, but she had a lot of her own power. And yeah.
Okay, Dale, you have something.
You're good. You're clear.
You're clear.
So I was just thinking about the movie Hidden Figures, about the women, mostly African American, who worked behind the scenes and did a lot of the calculations and the numbers about launching the original astronauts into space, and so this fits with what you were saying about the women performing these roles.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. That's a wonderful movie. It's also a good book that was written that the movie was based on. And do you know that women actually made up mathematics? It was back in there was a goddess of arithmetic who made up math in the beginning. I don't know how it came to be something that women were supposed to have math anxiety. I don't know how that happened in our culture because like you say, some women at least had a acuity for it. So does everyone know about that what he's talking about, the Hidden Figures?
I think so.
It's on Amazon Prime if people want to watch it. It's excellent.
Yeah, it was an excellent movie. It was, and well, still is an excellent movie. Okay, I am looking again for hands raised or anything else, please. I don't want to miss anybody. Anne Marie, go ahead, please.
Batya, I want to thank you for your talk. I found this so insightful, being a mother of 3 grown, independent young women. It made me reflect on what my husband and I did during their lives. And it kind of, with that yin and yang, I think we both fostered their feminine image, but yet I see how strong individuals they are. I have 2 of them that work in medicine, and it all came together in listening to you, thinking this is what I've been doing all my life, trying to get them to that goal. But there is that feminine energy, but we need that male energy too. We need that balance. And to have males who I was very thankful that my husband was very fostering with that femininity to his daughters and to any other women in his life. So I thank you for that. It was really great.
Thank you. Yeah, it's all about a rebalancing. The Kali, has anyone heard me tell the story of Kali before? I don't know. Yeah. So Kali is this, goddess of transformation, and she comes out to fight the warriors and evil, and she's cutting off a lot of heads, which really represents ego. But she's wildly cutting off the heads of the evil ego. And every time a warrior gets his head cut off, a drop of blood comes down and a new warrior grows up, and she's losing it with her anger, and her consort Shiva comes down and lays down on the ground so her foot can connect with his heart and she can relax. So American feminism or Western feminism has focused on the rageful, warrior goddess female going to town, but the original myth in India wasn't just about her. It was about the moment of rebalancing when he lies down so her foot can connect on his heart. That's the moment. It's a rebalancing. It's not just her rage, but it's a rebalancing. You had the two young women who became medical doctors to rebalance the fact that medicine had become completely male and shut out the midwives who couldn't practice in the birthing chambers anymore. That's literally, birth was taken away from women at the rise of medicine. So, thank you for your work.
Thank you very much. And I want to thank Batya again for a wonderful talk. I am so glad that you agreed, and so glad you got back on today so you could do that. Thank you so much. And now I think we'll move on to a little bit of message work. As spiritualists, we believe that the energy of all beings is forever linked, and that all of us have direct access to the love and guidance of loved ones, guides, teachers, saints, healers, and angels on the other side. We do have mediums that have joined us today who have agreed to be of service and connect with spirit to bring forth a few messages for us. And what I'm going to do is ask for mediums who think they have a message for someone or want to go ahead and serve today to please go ahead and give me actually, let's use the chat function for that today. And I'll watch for you there. If someone has a message they would like to give, and I'm relying on y'all. I'm not seeing any, but I do have a message here I want to present from Sidney Hudson that says, Batya, thank you for the focus and connecting your original talk with current events. And I love the framework of this being a time of rebalancing. So, all right, Vicki, where are you? I have lost you. Oh, there you are. Okay, Vicki, go ahead. I am trying to unmute you. There you are. Okay, go ahead.
I have one for Marge. Can Marge take a message? Marguerite. Yeah, we can't hear you. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me see if I can find her.
Right.
Yes, she's nodding. Yes, she is nodding. Go ahead.
What I'm seeing for you is on your father's side, a lot of strength coming in for you at this time. He's helping you get through all of this, and you're not to worry. Some help is coming for you, and you're not to worry about the outcome. It's all in God's plan, and I'll leave that with you, with Spirit's blessings.
Right, Vicki, was that the only one you had, Vicki? Yes, it is. Okay, all right. I am going to, let's see, Reverend Joey. Yes, go ahead, Joey.
Okay, I have a message for B. Would B like a message?
I see a yes. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. B, I see your grandmother, and she's telling me that she would like to see you do some planting. And I know, your first thing is you're going to say you have no yard space. But what she's showing me is that you're getting flower pots and you're placing different pots outside your door to add some color. But she says you have a lot of color inside, but you have no color outside. And so she wants to see you bring some of that joy to your front door. So when people, again, can come to visit, that there's something to greet them before they even knock on the door. And she's showing me these colorful pots that you're going to decorate to put these plants in. And she just is sending you that with love. And she said she knows you're talented, so you'll know what to do. And I leave that with you.
Thank you. All right, Joey, was that it?
You know what? I have a message for Renee. Would she like one?
All right. Renee, where'd she go?
I sure would. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Renee. I'm being told, and this seems to be from spirits, okay? So that even though during this time of relaxing, to some extent, you're still kind of intense about a few things. And you need to just bring all relaxation into everything that you do every day. If something seems to get you kind of wanting tight, like just let it go and say, how could I approach this from a different point of view? Okay, and they're showing me you smiling as you realize that you can relax into every aspect of your life. And I leave that with you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Joey. I have a message for Anne Marie. Anne Marie, would you like a message?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
All right. Now, your husband is in spirit, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Because I'm hearing very clearly. Thanks for the mention today. and he's saying that yes, he did try that. Although he is saying actually to you, and he was a funny guy, or at least he is right now. He's saying to you that he didn't always do the best he could on that line. You gave him a little extra credit today when you were talking, but he's very much appreciative and wants to say hey, and he's very happy with how you are dealing with, and he's also surprised, I might say, that he's very happy and surprised at how you are dealing with this sheltering in place business. He's very proud of the growth that has happened within just last couple of months. And he wants to give you kudos for that. And I'll leave that with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Okay. Does anybody else have a message they feel is needing to go? Sidney Hudson. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Sidney.
All right. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Happy remote Sunday, right? So there's a Deborah. I was looking through the list of participants, so I wouldn't call on somebody who wasn't able to be here today or hear me. Is there a Deborah Mitchell or Michelle still on the line? Yeah. Okay. Would you like a message this morning? Okay. Okay. Good morning to you. As I connect in with your energy, there's some, I want to say, angelic realms around you that are just putting their hands on your shoulders. And as other people have mentioned, this is kind of a time for slowing down or going within or retreating a little bit and rebooting ourselves, maybe is a word. And yet you're still on another level pretty busy. You're still, and they want you to know that you don't, if you keep the same approach, you're going to continue to stay busy, kind of like that hamster on the wheel type of thing, okay? Whereas if you take a different approach, if you just get off the wheel or whatever it may be, you're going to be able to see things in a way differently than what you've been seeing, and in a way that might be a little bit more illuminating or a little bit more helpful, because you're going to have a different perspective. So they want you to be aware that it's okay to relax into this time. It's okay to rest with this time. It's part of what it's about, I believe. But that it's also important for you then to step off the hamster wheel, take a different approach, and look at things a little bit differently to kind of ease off yourself a little bit, okay? Don't put so much pressure on yourself that, oh, this is my downtime. I need to clean out every closet in my garage, in my barn, in my attic. Unplug a little bit, take a different view, okay?
Okay, definitely needed that. Thank you.
Yeah, leave that with Spirit's blessings. Thank you. And I've got one other, but I don't know who it's for yet, so I'm kind of scrolling through my screen of magic here. Lydia, would you like a message this morning? Okay, hi, good morning. Yeah, I'm not sure about the muty thing, but have you been spending more, hi, good morning. Have you been spending more time outside in nature? I feel like there's a lot more connection between you and the little critters and the trees and the blooming of everything. Don't lose this, okay? When we all get back on the hamster wheel of regular life, whatever normal life is going to be, don't lose this, because there's a lot of healing for you in nature, and there's a lot of it's this, they're showing me this cyclical thing, like there's a lot of healing coming to you and through you, from you and to you, through nature. I don't know if I said that right or not. You heal nature, nature heals you, okay? And that's going to be an important thing to be mindful of in the days ahead, because it's going to get real easy to fall back in our old habits of whatever our old habits are. Don't lose the connection with nature, okay?
Okay.
And I feel like there's a new learning opportunity coming up for like the end of May. And I mean, obviously we're doing everything remotely right now, so I don't know if it's a book, if it's an online class, if it's a podcast that you listen to. But I feel like there's a connection that's going to be made, and your brain is going to be like, oh, this is a missing puzzle piece that escalates you. And I don't even say in a different direction, but it's just going to escalate your learning and understanding and expansion. Okay, so that's the cool, fun thing. Yeah, be mindful of, like, when you hear Batya telling you about different things you can YouTube or podcasts coming up or whatever. Keep your ear on that and tune in, and you're going to know it when you link into it. It's like, oh, this is a cool missing puzzle piece. This is what I need to know. So I leave that with Spirit's blessings. Okay.
Thank you.
I would do the same, but I got to hold on to my tablet with one hand. So I'll give you a one-handed namaste bow. Thank you so much, Lydia.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I leave that with Spirit's blessings. And Jenny, thank you for the opportunity to serve.
Thank you. Thank you, Cindy. And I'm going to call on one more person. Fran, you said you had a message, Fran?
I do. Am I muted?
You are good to go.
Okay. My first message, I actually have 3 messages. So
Okay.
I have a message from Mary Kay. Would you like to take the message, Mary Kay?
Yes, thank you, Fran.
Okay. I'm being told that you're really enjoying being back in touch with all the people at the church, and you need to take this as a lesson. And there's other people in your life that you need to get back in touch with, and you need to make that step and get back in touch with these other people, and you will have the same great connection with them that you've had with your Church of the Angels family. And I leave that with you.
Thank
you. Okay, and then I have a message for Carol Wood, Reverend Carol Wood.
She is here. Let me unmute her. There you go. Reverend Carol Wood, can you hear her?
Yes. Hi.
Okay, Reverend Carol, the message that I'm receiving for you is that you're doing a wonderful time or wonderful job taking care of your family during this quarantine time, but you're not doing such a great job of taking care of yourself. So the message that I'm getting is, by hook or by crook, you need to go find some time where you can just concentrate on you. You are spread a little bit too thin, and it's going to start having effects. You know how they affect. We all get affected when we're spread a little too thin. So you need to, like I said, by hook or crook, even if it's in a closet, you have to find some time for yourself so that you can take care of you. And that is the message I'm getting for you, and I leave that with you.
Thank you, Fran.
You're welcome. And the last message I have is for Reverend Jenni.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, I am being told that in times of stress, you're counting on mostly just yourself to get out of these stressful situations. And while that's really what we need to do, there is somebody out in the barnyard, and maybe this has to do with your barnyard princess or barnyard priestess, but I don't know if it's one of your cows or a special chicken. But when you're having a lot of stress, you need to go there, and that animal will give you love, and it will bring you back down and help you. So it even could be one of the dogs. I'm not sure. I think it's a cow. I think you do have cows right now, right?
Yes, I think it's Thelma.
Okay, I'm pretty sure it's a cow, and I think that if you go and you spend some time with Thelma, then it'll bring you back around. So just get out there and spend some time with her when you're feeling stressed. And that, I leave that message with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. All right. Thank you to everybody who served today. I do have a couple of announcements before we come to our close. I want everybody to know that the Spirit Fair plans are being made, and so look forward to details soon. We are looking forward, hopefully, to the week of May 17th, and we would have that open for the whole week. Details about how to schedule appointments with readers and healers and all that is coming soon. So please watch Facebook for that, and also the website. I want to also thank Dr. Ileana Pina, who gave us a wonderful talk on COVID and the fact versus fiction last night. I will have that available online as well on Facebook and on the website so that you can partake of that as well. I want to let everybody know that if you know of someone in the private sector or those in the health field that are in need of masks, there are still some of us in the church that are still, no, not still some of us, but there are some of us that are still, that's what I'm trying to say, still making masks. So if you know of anybody that is in need, please let us know. And for a small donation to the church, we can get those to you. And if you can't make a donation, it doesn't matter. We'll still get them to you. I'm looking for speakers, for virtual speakers for the month of May. So please let me know about that. You can throw me an email through the church email. That would work fine. And I want to give a shout out to Reverend Joy Wants and the prayer team. We are getting requests in almost daily for prayers, and they are doing a bang-up job of handling that and getting them handled in a timely manner and getting those prayers out and doing their work of service in that way. So I want to give a shout out for that. Are there any announcements from the virtual floor? I am looking for Fran. Yes, Fran, you need to unmute yourself, Fran. Let's see.
Okay, I did.
Yes.
Okay, mine are not really announcements. Well, they're comments. No, I have two comments. One is, and I mentioned this to Reverend Cindy Hudson, if we could have some child-size masks, I think that once the governor makes his announcements on Monday and we find out that things are opening up a little bit, but we're supposed to wear masks, I think that will include children. And I think that I don't think they have the same abundance of children-sized masks. So you wonderful seamstress out there, I don't know if you can come up with some child-sized masks, but that was
Fran,
a thought that I had. Yes.
Fran, this is Cindy, and based on your comment yesterday, I did look up the sizes. So we have different sizes for typically ages 2 through 4, which we know good luck keeping those on, but maybe. And then we also have size for children ages 4 through 12. And we have like mother, daughter, father, son, but the children's sizes we will make up on request. So again, let myself know, or let Reverend Jenni know, anybody listening or know of anybody who might need children's masks, just communicate that with us and which size, which age range, and we certainly can get those to whoever would need, okay?
Okay, that's great.
Thank you.
I have a large group of young mothers that I'm going to get in touch with and see what's going on there with them. So, but the other announcement I have to make is about the prayer group. And the cool thing about the prayer group is I had a acquaintance, a friend that had COVID-19, and she was on a respirator group, and she's now off the respirator and looking really.
Fran, we're losing you, but I understand that somebody is off the respirator, and that's great. And doing well.
Right. And
Fran, you're coming in and out, honey. We're losing
prayed
you.
for by our prayer team.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks. Anybody else have any announcements? I'm going to flip through the screens here really quickly. I do not see any other announcements. Oh, yes, I do. Joey. Okay, go ahead, Joey.
Okay, I am looking for some more prayer warriors. I could use anybody who is more than willing to just send me an email or send it to you and get it to me. But I really would love to have more people on the team. That's all I have to say. I want to thank everybody on the team because I know they're doing an excellent job. I won't say great job, an excellent job, and I thank them all.
Thank you, Joey. Yes, we could always use more people on the team. Yes, yes, yes. So thank you to all the participants and all the mediums, and especially the Spirit and the God of your understanding for being with us today and always. For those who may be new with us today, you can learn more about the church at our website, which is www.thechurchoftheangels.net. And now, Reverend Deborah, you had offered to play a song for us in a way that you know how and I don't. So if you could play a song for us before our closing prayer, that would be great.
Do you guys want to hear Uncloudy Day, or do you want a prayer for peace?
Either, whatever you choose, we'll let Spirit handle it. How's that?
All right. Since you chose Uncloudy Day, we'll do that. But Reverend Vicky, did you have an announcement you wanted to do real quick? I saw your hand up.
I just want to say we miss Walt.
Yes, yes. Prayers definitely go to Reverend Walt. He's doing fine. He does have trouble getting online, and yes, so yes, definitely send out prayers for Walt to keep him in the uplifted light.
All right, here we go. Let me know if you can hear it. You guys hear it? Can you hear it?
A little higher. Yep.
I'm a home far beyond sky. They tell me I'm a home far away. Oh, they tell me I'm a home where no star clouds rise. Oh, they tell me I'm an uncloudy day. Oh, the land of cloudless day. Oh, the land of an uncloudy sky. They tell me I'm a home where no stars rise. Oh, they tell me I'm an uncloudy day. Well, they tell me of a home where my friends have gone. They tell me of that land far away, where the tree of life in eternal bloom sheds its fragrance through the uncloudy day. Oh, the land of cloudless day. Oh, the land of an uncloudy sky. They tell me I'm a home where no stars rise. Oh, they tell me I'm an uncloudy day. They tell me I'm a king and his beauty. They tell me that my eyes shall behold. Where he sits on the throne that is wide up and strong. In a city that is made of gold. Oh, the land of cloudless day. Oh, the land of an uncloudy sky. They tell me I'm a home where no star clouds rise. Oh, they tell me I'm an uncloudy day. Oh, the land of cloudless day. Oh, the land of an uncloudy sky. Well, they tell me I'm a home where no star clouds rise. Oh, they tell me I'm an uncloudy day.
How's that?
All right, thank you. That was Willie Nelson, wasn't it? All right, thank you. In closing, let us pray. Infinite Spirit, Mother, Father God, as we move forward, we thank you in advance for the guidance and resources you always provide for us to live the fullest expression of your love. We pray for all those affected by the circumstances throughout our world at this time. May we be reminded of the opportunities to reconnect in love to all those around this world, Mother Earth, and the universe. Amen. Thank you for joining us. Thank you very much.